is the host of Mild Sauce Live, Mild Sauce Radio. We got some special guests tonight. We got Julius Torres and Tori Torsion. And right then, the crowd went crazy. Yeah! Welcome to the crowd. Hey, welcome to the show, guys.
Random as hell.
Random as can be. That's the beauty of Mild Sauce Live. We can have somebody walk through the door anytime. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood up here, kind of.
Yeah.
So what's going on, guys? Introduce yourself. Julius, the creative director of PBR in the city.
Yeah, they're just in the city.
Here in the city.
Yeah.
Doing some great things with this PBR Easy. Also a longtime member of the Canvas Art Collective.
Yes.
That did a lot of, has done and continues to do great things around the city.
Right.
Tori, snapping photos all over town.
Yeah.
Doing your thing.
Taking a lot of pictures, getting into these scenes. Traveling a lot.
You travel a ton. You work outside of photos in the aviation. I was about to say the flight industry. That didn't make sense.
Flight industry, aviation industry, travel industry.
The flight industry sounds like something like Jordan has somewhere. But what's it been like for you, like building a portfolio of like photos and stuff here in the scene in Chicago?
Damn. Well, I mean, it all started out a while before I even became a flight attendant. Through my career as a breakdancer, I was doing competitive and entertainment breakdancing for a while as a videographer, and then it turned into photography, and then being a flight attendant just kind of like tied all that shit in together, with the street photography and documenting the b-boy culture and hip-hop culture and shit like that, like different events around the world. It's dope.
Have you continued to like seek out b-boy culture outside of Chicago? What's that been like?
Yeah, man, it's been sick, dude. We the last event we went to was in Japan, and I want to say September for freestyle session. And the next event that we're going to is the Endless Summer Jam in Hawaii during the Powwow Art Festival.
Okay. You were telling me about Hawaii. I didn't know that's why you're going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing activation out there with Kings Without Crowns and Hidden Characters. And we're doing a pop-up of like Kicks Hawaii. So be on the lookout for that content.
That's
and that
what's
footage. It's going to be sick.
How'd you, like, for people, like young photographers or people that are just coming up, like, how did you build a repertoire enough to be able to, like, go to Hawaii and, like, travel around and, like, kind of pursue your dream in conjunction with just living, like, a life? Like, we all that's what people don't realize sometimes, you just have to, like, live life as well. Like,
yeah, I mean.
So it's, like, it's a beauty when you can, like, combine those things into a passion type.
Yeah, I mean, the lifestyle of it all started with, growing up as a b-boy, we always traveled around competitions and battling and shit. And the out there, shout out to Mason Rose. He's one of the curators of this Endless Summer Jam in conjunction with Yalta Summer Jam, which I believe is in Russia. So it's like a summer festival, but they're bringing out the concept of it being just more like a party kind of environment instead of like a strict competition vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be going out there and we're going to do a pop-up and a release of some, I work with a streetwear brand, Kings Without Crowns. So we're going to be doing like an activation out there and like experiential marketing experience outside of, what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to be part of like the vendor market, but we're still going to be tying in, like Kings Without Crowns is tied in with the breakdancing community, you know what I'm saying? So
shout out
also
Adverse.
for people who might not know.
Yeah. Kings Without Crowns, established in 2009. Streetwear brand based here in Chicago, ran by Matson Adverse Adams. Shouts out to you.
That's the boy.
And it's going to be fucking rad, man. I really don't know what we're going to be doing, just like all of our trips.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably going to be like our third international trip. Well, not really international because it's Hawaii, but.
I mean, it's like that gray area.
Yeah, I mean, it is a gray area. It's over some fucking water. You know?
It's like a long enough flight. You should be in another country, right? Like,
yeah. So it's gonna be sick, man. We're gonna be out there for like 6 days, man.
That's crazy, man.
None of us have been to Hawaii, so we're definitely about to be causing a fucking ruckus.
Jealous to miss that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be like over 10 people. Every time we travel with the brand or anything involving this type of shit is like 10 or more people. So
I get mad FOMO. I've yet to be on one trip, but
yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Most of these guys all work for the airlines, so they're all just like on the ramp, flight attendants, and they're just like finessing it. They're doing this shit so they can pursue their passions and elevate.
I love that hustle. I love the hustle of like, especially with the airlines, man. We were just talking about how airlines, United, United's not out here winning any customers with their baggage fees and stuff like that.
Yo, Adverse actually works for United Airlines on top of his for screen
Oh
printing
shit! So
business.
I'm undercutting you right now on live on the radio.
Don't snooze, man. Don't snooze, man.
Never mind. I was talking about
Aviation
Delta, man. Delta, yeah.
Fucking Southwest, man. Fuck that.
Yeah, aviation's where it's at.
I was this close.
That's a
I
smart
was
move,
this
though.
close to moving into that before I got the job with PBR. But even before that, I would have got onto the flight attendant shit because I've known Tori for like 5 years. And when I met him at Pump Room, he was like, "Oh, I'm about to do this. I'm just gonna try to be a flight attendant." And then, but I had like too many tattoos on my arms and shit. So he was like, "I don't know, bro." So that kind of went out the door pretty quickly for me.
We had like your own journey through the city, Julius, where you came from Miami.
Yeah,
Florida man. He is a Florida man.
See me in the news.
Me and Tori been on edge the whole time. He's been all right so far. We don't know when he could turn into it at any point.
I know.
I don't know if it's a full moon.
I'm gonna go in the
tonight.
bathroom and do some crocodile.
I don't think it's a full moon tonight, so I think we're all right. But no, you came up from the art scene down in Florida and like really established yourself here. What was like the process of you as well? Like kind of coming into the scene, making a name for yourself, getting your art out there, that kind of thing. You had your own gallery. What was that? 2 years ago now?
I wouldn't call it a gallery; it'd be more of a collective. But
okay, excuse me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. A show.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I landed in Chicago from Miami. Just kind of left on a whim and just hit the ground running. I met a bunch of dope people because I was out there trying to meet the dope people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it, you know.
What were you doing like those first few months? It was like your first like couple moves that you.
I got a job because I didn't know anybody, so I got a job, and then I met a couple of people through that brought me to parties, and when I was in that environment, I just was trying to like flourish, and I was talking to everybody, meeting new people, you know, blase. You keep moving on, meeting new people. You get different jobs. I find a new job, like. For example, like Pump Room, when I met Tori. That's how I met Tori. He was a restaurant industry.
Okay.
I met Preston, who runs Canvas.
How did you meet Preston?
I met him through my brother. My brother knew Preston because through Dell, and he was my first roommate because my brother set up that kind of that structure for me. And then I was just like, hey man, like I'm new here, like I know this, and it's gonna help out. I just want to like be a part of this community. Help that kind of develop in my little additions or whatever. I helped out a lot with like the build outs, the art curation, bringing in all the artists that I was meeting throughout these conversations and meets, and I was just trying to get myself out there as an artist. I was doing tattoos at the time and painting, but after meeting all of these amazing and dope artists that I could see like now are killing it, like for example like Lefty, like I met him like when he was drawing on fucking post stickers, you know, like the United States Postal Service stickers.
Oh yeah, that was like a whole move at a certain point.
Oh yeah, man.
It was like a whole movement on the.
Yeah, and I was like, man, honestly, like I don't want to be trying to put myself out there like that. I really want to like figure out the game.
Right.
So I got behind it. I started putting on the shows, and then people I was hanging out with, they're like seeing like, oh man, you know a lot of artists or whatever.
It was like what, like 2015, 2014?
2012.
2012, okay.
2012, 2013.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, so we kind of put together era galleries, and we started putting on shows. I put on Tori's first exhibition. I think only exhibition at
My
this point.
first and only
so I put
photo exhibit.
That on. Marco Miller, just a bunch of artists, and just finding like bars that were willing to host us and put on things, and that kind of just went from there. Canvas started blowing up, doing all their big events, and I was just doing what I do for that. And yeah, I don't know. It's just been a journey on and on and on, doing more and more activations, more and more brands started picking me up via like Mosaic, the agency. They would hire me for like as a freelance artist and builder, developer, whatever, producer. And so I started working with the beer brands there and the liquor brands, and on and on
And
and
just kinda,
on.
like, all
And then
spiral
it fell
from
into the
there.
PBR thing because I was producing.
But it
art
was all
shows for
coming
them.
from like for you. It was all coming from like a place of like art though too. Like you
Art.
were painting, you were like creating it on your own while you're also.
I was
kinda, like,
tattooing, I
also
was
laying a
building, I was
platform, right?
painting, I was doing anything my creative bones could do, and learning about the whole activation side, which was it's just a huge market that has happened in the last 7 to 8 years, in my opinion, like what I've seen at least.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
and
happening
you
a
guys were
lot.
instrumental in that with a lot of the stuff that Canvas did with all the what Voyager and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
That was like
Voyager,
one
yeah.
of the biggest things.
Yeah, we were definitely pioneering a lot of this digital art mixed with performance and the physical art, which is really beautiful to be a part of. And
Yeah,
I
that
feel
was
like
an amazing time to be in Chicago, man. When
Yeah.
everyone was
everybody was just ciphering.
cultivating that energy, man. That was a
What do
pretty
you think's
big.
different right now?
Well,
That's
the
a good
biggest
question.
difference to me is at that time everyone was seeking for some type of like creative community where people can like really manifest their creative
Mhm.
like endeavors and shit. And now the biggest difference is everyone went through that huge like nucleus of creativity, and everyone's branched off into their own lanes of success.
Right.
So that nucleus really isn't there anymore because everyone just kind of like drifted off into their own lanes and shit, man.
Which is fair, yeah.
So it's
like-
kind of strange now because I mean, personally, I miss those vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we
Going
all
to the
do.
Canvas
Yeah.
spot over on North Avenue. I
Oh,
don't know
man,
if
miss
anyone's
the
ever been
space.
there
It's so
for
nice.
any artistic event, because that's basically what saved my like creative like lifestyle within Chicago. Because I grew up in the breaking scene, and it got a little like mundane. You know what I'm saying? Being around a bunch of people who were very like stuck in like this level of like animosity. You know, no one really wants to share talents with each other. You know. I'm part of a breaking crew, Chicago Tribe, so we're very strict on who we hang around and share our information and our knowledge with. So it became like, I was like, man, I'm kind of tired of this, you know. And I met Julius working at Pump Room, and he introduced me to the people of Canvas. So I was hanging around like other like creatives, like photographers, models, artists, graffiti artists, muralists, whatever. And it was like a whole new rebirth of like, oh shit, like Chicago has something going on now. The biggest difference now is that that's not really happening anymore. So everyone's kind of like doing their own thing. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I think you feel that across the
Yeah.
board. It's like
Yeah.
all the creative scenes. I feel like even like music to art, everything. I don't know. It's just a weird little time for the city.
It's a strange time. I
It's a
mean, there's the
transition.
winter. It is the winter. You know, everyone's doing bigger things now with bigger companies that have budgets. So
Yeah,
I guess what we're doing now is like on a larger scale.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit from that.
it's just a
but-
little more in silos or whatever, right? It's a little less like communal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
less communal. Yeah, I remember.
It is,
I remember
yeah.
like Canvas Primer, which was like a
Was-
sit concept that Preston Jones
Yeah,
came
that
up
was fun.
with.
I did one of those.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean,
It
I wish
all
I was
about
at the
it.
stage.
Just sharing information, sharing.
It was really dope.
Yeah.
I actually had a great. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like very flattered to be able to go do
Canvas
that.
Primer was sick, dude. Monthly event, community building event. Maybe you can
Speaking
do-
of community building events,
yeah.
Jasmine Barber's hosting a very important event tomorrow night. If anyone's seen it, it's a community conversation for everybody, for everything that's been going on in the scene here in Chicago as we talk about it. If anyone can make it, check out
Who's
J Bambi on Twitter, J_Bambi with 2 I's at the end.
What's the event that's happening?
It's literally like a conversation that's supposed to take place just between everybody in the community. There's been a lot of accusations, a lot of shit going on.
Okay.
So, it seems like a time we all got to sit down and like settle some things. So yeah, it's just like an open conversation where everybody can kind of sit down and be honest. And it's been like shared around everything a lot.
When
shout
is
out-
it happening, man?
It's tomorrow night.
Oh, okay, cool. Where's
Here,
it gonna be?
I'll pull it up.
I'll be in town.
The location is secret, but you can hit up Jasmine and she will let you know.
Yeah, I think that'd be something interesting to check out. See
Yeah,
what gossip
Who's putting
and
this
shit's
on?
happening in the art scene.
This is Jasmine Barber here. It's called Come Together, a space made for connection, accountability, conversation,
This is
and
their
community
space?
healing. It's happening right down the street. It's down here in Pilsen. And yeah, it's just something positive for the people. We need it right now in the community, and I think it's
Seriously.
kind of like not only to the stuff you're talking about, but obviously everything else that's been going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty great. Shout out Jasmine
I think
for putting
that's
that
dope.
together. And
Yeah, I think that's
we'll
dope,
definitely,
man.
I'll definitely be in the house. Miles will also be there. And we're excited to just like kind of
Yeah.
It feels like a rebirth here happening in Chicago.
feel
And we
like-
need it. I think it was needed. You know.
I think we need another good space. Like I feel like we've been losing spaces like left and right.
Yeah, AMFM is no longer down the
AMFM,
street, right?
I feel like
Shout
Lacuna
out to Sierra.
hasn't been what it used to be in like
No,
last
it hasn't. Yeah, it's
for
fair.
a long time. Canvas isn't really a space and hasn't been for a minute. Man, like I just can't. Can you think of any space that's like facilitating this kind of environment anymore?
I think like cognitive arts. I think Chicago Art Department does what they can. You know, there's a few places
FDC?
around. Yeah, FDC.
FDC, yeah,
Shout out,
definitely. Well, I mean, they're
shout out
definitely
Kyle.
they're definitely doing a lot of great events and stuff, but it's just like, are they really being the catalyst for the next movement? Is what I'm trying.
I think that's what's missing, and I think you might have hit that on the head. Is that it feels as though there's like there's nobody taking the reins, right? Like people, there's a lot of people throwing parties at places
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
exactly.
but there's no place that's
and that's
like,
great,
taking
and
the
I'm not
reins.
putting that down at all.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's just different. It's just like
Yeah.
kind of what it is right now, which might feel a little familiar to those of us who like kind of came up in that scene where it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the place was kind of.
And that's the difference
Yeah.
is like people have been so accustomed, or maybe, you know, with these new lanes that I've been speaking about, is just throwing parties and shit.
Yeah.
And kind of forgetting about what got them to that point of being able to throw these parties. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Where it was like, these are the spots where you just go and chop it up with other creatives.
Yeah.
And there really isn't like a hub for that
mean,
anymore, you know? Like instead of like a bar. or
It's
some
not
shit
bad
like
to
that.
say this, but I would kind of blame Soho House for that in a way too. you
Soho
know, I
House is a
think,
bit, has a,
I mean,
They
it is and it
preached
isn't.
it. They
It's
preached
like,
it.
yeah.
They preached it at the beginning, and like in some form or another, I felt like it was there for a second.
I mean,
But it was
yeah, I
lost.
obviously
It
have
was
my own
lost
opinions
quickly.
on the whole situation.
I was never a member of Soho House, so I could never go and participate in those events unless I went with you or
Yeah.
with Lefty or with Murphy or some shit. But
We were-
it kind of like made
I
that
mean, they were
creative
pretty much the
yeah,
wallpaper.
because it went
at that
from
place
like
at the time, so it was like.
Seriously though, I mean,
No, but it was a great. That place had its moment too. I think. Like,
It had its
It
moment.
did,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
did.
It was great when we had it. We were all fucking killing
Had
it.
some
dude.
great
We were
times there,
loving
man.
it. dude.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fun for a moment, and then I think that's just the Chicago way in a way a bit is it kind of comes and it goes. Tori, just sit down real quick. We're gonna wrap this up because we gotta get out of here. Before you leave. No, but no. Thank you guys for stopping by though. This was a dope little conversation. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about some of my good friends that walked through my doorway today.
yeah, very randomly here.
But yeah, this has been Mild Sauce Live. I'm Jake Krez. This is Julius Torres. That's Tori Torsion. And we'll be back again soon on some random shit as usual. Thanks for watching, guys.
Just
We'll be back.